Hello guys, welcome to the Copenhagen Half Marathon Race vlog. I am so glad to be back here, and this time around Ben could also make it. We are both racing on Sunday. So my plans have not changed. Valencia Half is still my goal race. I'm just slotting in a little detour by Copenhagen as part of this training vlog, and I've explained all my reasons for doing it and also why I hadn't spoken about this race before in my previous video if you've not seen it already. It seems that every single time we travel, Ben ends up being super busy with work despite his best efforts not to be. We're staying in the same accommodation as I stayed last year, same kind of studio, just slightly different layout, and there's a bit of a co-working space downstairs, so Ben has been downstairs doing work hauls whilst I've been to the shop to buy groceries, and I've also been to the expo, took one for the team, collected our race numbers. Actually, I shouldn't say took one for the team as if it's a chore, because I love doing that sort of stuff. And this year, Sky actually have a booth at the expo itself, so I thought I'd stop by to see if I knew anyone there this afternoon. And yes, saw a couple of people that I knew already, met some more people from the team that I hadn't met before. Yeah, I'm really glad to be back here. I have great memories from last year, and last year I stayed a full week, so I could really take my time to explore Copenhagen. This year is a bit different because I know the city already, and also it's a much shorter visit because we are actually leaving Sunday afternoon, but I hope it's going to be a great few days. Morning run done, easy 6 kilometers today, and of course I conveniently finished my run right by the coffee shop. I had been to this one last year and it was really good coffee. Better be good though, because an oat flat white cost me the equivalent of £5.80, so I will never complain again about the price of coffee in the UK. But yeah, let's be honest, I'm here to race, but I'm also here for the Copenhagen sites, the coffee shops, the baked goods, all those good things. Little pre-race shakeout done this morning, just 20 minutes easy with some strides, and I finished by the bakery. I nearly got discouraged because all my days, this queue for the bakery, I was like, do I want to wait? But I thought, well, I'm not in a rush for anything today, and I know for a fact it's a really good bakery. If you're ever in Copenhagen, you need to go to Juno Bakery. Went last year, and the cardamom buns are incredible. Copenhagen is really not the worst place in the world for a high carb day. So this time tomorrow, I will have been running for 45 minutes. So I know the course now. I did it last year. It is a flat course, not as flat as Valencia, but there's only about 30-meter total elevation gain throughout the 21 kilometers. The second half is a little trickier. I think the kilometer with the worst elevation is kilometer 13. Fueling, I will take 2 precision gels with me. That's 60-gram carbs. I'm gonna run in the Puma Fast R3, and hopefully, yeah, they don't start hurting after 10 kilometers. Hopefully, I don't end up with an eagle or an injury with those shoes. I'm a bit nervous, but I cannot back out now because it's the only pair of race shoes that I've brought with me, and hopefully they work out okay tomorrow. And if that's the case, then they'll definitely be my race shoes for Valencia Half next month. Now, weather-wise, it's going to be a bit warm, not extremely warm, but on the warmer side for running conditions. So it's going to be 15 degrees Celsius at 9:30 when we start, and then it's going to go up to 16 degrees with a slight chance of rain. And then it's always somewhat windy in Copenhagen, so it's definitely not going to be completely still tomorrow. I'm hoping I can set off at my current PB pace, which is around 354, 355 minutes per K, and then hopefully that feels good, and hopefully I can maintain it. And if it doesn't feel good, and if I slow down, when we have a problem. And yeah, I don't really know. I'm just going to start running, see how that feels, and take it from there. Yeah, plans for the day, just relax, put my feet up, start editing this video, do a bit of mobility. What's great about where we're staying at is that there's a yoga mat in the studio, which I've been using to stretch in the morning after my runs. I'm going to do some mobility on the mat this afternoon. And yeah, I guess I'll pick the camera back up tomorrow morning. About an hour out from the start of the half marathon. How are you feeling about it? Your first Copenhagen half.
Oh, great. So looking forward to it. Pretty Sarah, be alright?
Hoping for a PB?
Well, if I don't, then there's serious issues.
Well, yeah, I guess
Because
after
I'm not
your
really-
10k
yeah.
and 5k PBs this year.
Yeah, hopefully 67, maybe 66 if the stars align. Or, no, probably 67.
Just super nervous for the whole day today. There's the both of us racing, and then after the race, we've got to rush to the airport to our next destination. And yeah, I just hope I'm not going to finish like ages after Ben, because he won't have his phone. I'll be the one having my phone. This accommodation is keyless. We need my phone to unlock the door. So basically, without me, Ben cannot get back here, and we cannot be late to the airport. So yeah, I just hope I am not too slow today. It is the next day, and we are now in Andorra. That is a story for another vlog. Let's talk about the race. So, Copenhagen half, the first thing we need to talk about is the weather, which was nothing like what the weather forecast was predicting the day before. Basically, yesterday morning, looked at the weather app again, and then it had changed to rain forecast for the whole morning. So there was heavy rain in the warm-up with some thunderstorms, and then it got a bit dry for the start and the first handful of kilometers. It was just slightly drizzling, and then back to torrential rain all the way to the finish. Huge puddles everywhere. Gave me flashbacks from Valencia half last year because same conditions. The warm-up actually was quite cool because I bumped into the Sky founder and CEO. He recognized me, we jogged a bit together, we found shelter under a roof when it was raining so much. On to the actual race. I wanted to set off at around the pace that would make me run an 82 something. I ended up starting a little quicker than that, a couple seconds per kilometer quicker. And I thought, well, I'm gonna roll with it and see what happens. I'd say the first 10k were okay. And it became noticeably more challenging, and the rain really was not helping anything. I thought Berlin half back in April was an effort, a proper grind. Whoa, yesterday was next level. At some point, there were big puddles everywhere. You couldn't avoid them, so my feet were completely soaked. So soaked that the insoles inside my shoes, they were like super spongy, and they folded like around my foot arch. And that was so painful. But every time I was contemplating really slowing down and kind of like giving up, there was someone in the crowd cheering me on, being like, go on, Chloe, and it just would spur me on, and I would be like, right, I've got to keep going. I actually have a real shot at extending the PB streak, so I didn't want to just give up. I wanted to just keep trying. And I've got to say, despite the weather, the crowds were still there. There was amazing support, really good cheer zones, maybe a little quieter in certain areas than last year. Very understandable given the weather, but on the whole, incredible support that really helped. And despite this little insole incident that wasn't a shoe malfunction, that was purely due to the really heavy rain and puddles, I wanted to see if I could run a half marathon in the fast R3, and now I've established that I can, which is great news. And so as soon as I crossed the finish line, I look absolutely spent and not really ecstatic, because at this point I didn't want to look at my watch. The last couple kilometers I didn't want to look, because I was so scared that after believing I could run a PB, if I were to realize that after all this grind I had missed out on a PB, you know, I couldn't bear the thought at that moment. But then I had my phone with me and I got a notification through my watch that I had got a text with the official result, and I saw it and I was like, oh my days. So my official chip time is 81:36. That is a 53-second half marathon PB. So the PB streak lives to fight another race. That is also a huge course PB, because last year I ran 88:11. I've now officially shaved 20 minutes of my half marathon time. I raced my first half marathon in November 2021 in 1 hour 41:46. And yesterday 1 hour 21:36. It was kind of a wild dream of mine to take 20 minutes of my time. And you know, at first it was like a wild dream, and then it was like kind of like a long-term realistic aim, and then it became a more middle to short-term goal with like a proper timeline. And then I wanted to shoot for it at Valencia next month, and then it happened yesterday, like wow. And then I found Ben. I found out that he had run also a big PB. He ran 66:24. That is around 2-minute PB. His previous was 68 something. So we were both really happy. And I half jokingly offered my Valencia half race entry to Ben if he wants it, because sub 82 was my goal for Valencia. Now I've done it. I don't know if I can do any better in a few weeks. I mean, I don't see myself running any faster. I don't even know how I did it yesterday. And I know that I keep saying this, but it's truly how I feel. I don't know how I am keeping this half marathon streak going. I don't know how I keep progressing. And I know one day it's going to stop. I'm already, you know, scared of when it happens. And I don't know when it's going to happen. So every training block, every race, I've got almost this self-imposed pressure of, you know, is this it? But the only way to find out is to keep training, keep trusting the process, and see, you know, where it takes me. And on that note, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you've not already to follow along what's going to happen in Valencia. Congratulations to everyone who raced Copenhagen half over the weekend. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!